I'm at the Honey Center, which usually has a different connotation, George, but that is the name of the LA Clippers practice facility. And here I am outside watching for any candidates to go in or out. The Clippers have been active. They have interviewed Tyronn Lue in person. They have interviewed Mike Brown in person. They have interviewed Darvin Ham in person. Mike Brown and Darvin Ham, two of the more highly profile assistants out there in the league. And there is an expectation that Jeff Van Gundy could also interview with the Clippers in the coming days. Ty Lue, as Perk has just talked about for many reasons, including familiarity with these players, is believed to be the leading candidate here. But the Clippers are being thorough in this process. They're also keeping their cards close to the vest. There's not a lot of information leaking out right now, but people do believe Ty Lue and Jeff Van Gundy the leading candidates for this job.
Perk, let me ask you about that. With Ty Lue and Jeff Van Gundy being the leading candidates there, as Brian reported in Where in the World is Windy, I think that if you're going to let go of Doc Rivers, don't you have to go a different direction there? Wouldn't it feel weird if they went with one of his lead assistant, basically? How do you feel about this particular job and the candidates?
Well, it's kind of strange. I mean, you would think that, they would go in the different directions, but to me, this didn't seem like it came from the top. This seemed like this had a lot of player involvement as far as with Doc Rivers being fired, and that guys want T. Lue to be the coach. But this goes to a testimony of T. Lue loyalty to Doc Rivers. Not saying that he won't take the Clippers job, but it's still in his eyes, he's going to search the market and see what else is out there because, he is a loyal guy to Doc. And I know Doc probably didn't gave him his blessings to take the job, but it's still, T. Lue is that type of guy where he want to see what else is out there. And then I wouldn't be surprised if the Houston Rockets deal don't work out, he will take the Clippers job. But it just, it's kind of crazy. I think the Clippers really dropped the ball on letting Doc Rivers go without having a solidified backup plan. So that's just my opinion about them. And, hey, that's why they're in the mess that they is in today.
Brian, let me ask you about that situation, right? Would it be strange if an assistant took over in this spot, someone who was that close to Doc, because they wanted to clearly go in a different direction, it seemed like? And, of course, what is Sam Cassell's role in this? Will he be interviewed? Is he part of the process?
And you know what?
Well,
that's crazy to ask.
Sorry, Perk, that was for Windy.
I don't think the Clippers had a total plan here because I don't think they were expecting to lose in the second round and firing Doc Rivers. I will say that it'll be interesting to see where the Doc Rivers-Ty Lue relationship is at the other end of this, because especially if Ty Lue replaces Doc, that can be prickly, I can tell you. And then Ty Lue was extremely interested in the Philadelphia 76ers coaching job that Doc Rivers sort of swooped in and took, and that just makes it complicated. And I do think Sam Cassell is on the list, but I think in this hire, because I think Darvin Ham, who I mentioned earlier, is an excellent coach. You saw what Taylor Jenkins was able to do when he went to Memphis coming off that Milwaukee staff last season. Darvin Ham has got that reputation out there in the league, the next big assistant to get a job. But it's a big ask to ask someone to take over the pressure who's never been a head coach before. And I think that puts Cassell and anybody who comes into this job fresh a little bit difficult. That's why Ty Lue and Jeff Van Gundy are at the top of the list right now.
Perk, your thoughts? Yeah, I mean, Sam Cassell is deserving of a job, and I think he will fit right in with the Clippers. A lot of the guys on the rosters love Sam Cassell. They can relate to him. They look up to him. And I think he's deserving of a job. And if it's not the Clippers, I think somewhere else. I think a job like the Oklahoma City Thunder would be a perfect fit for Sam. But I tell you one thing, George, the Clippers, they have to be very, very careful on who they hire because, their team is championship or bust. Like, let's cut out all the nonsense. They're championship or bust. So whatever coach that they do hire, they got to make sure that it's the right coach that's going to lead them to a championship because, you know, those guys, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Lou Will, all those guys are not getting younger. They're getting older. They're 30 plus, so they have to be very careful in who they hire at that position.
Well, and to that point, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard also can opt out of their deals after next season, too. So something to keep an eye on in regards to that.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.